Hi, I'm Jenny Ushery, and this is Plant Talk. Today we're talking about a little flower that's causing a lot of controversy, Globe Chamomile, also known as stinkweed, also known by its Latin name Oncocyphum pilliferum. Although Globe Chamomile is getting a bad reputation as invasive in the desert southwest, the plant is actually highly adapted to living in the Sonoran desert environment, which is part of the reason why it is successfully competing for space, nutrients, and existence under fairly harsh circumstances. Plants that survive and thrive in the desert have a series of potential adaptations to help them live here. These adaptations are almost entirely related to our dry climate. The lack of precipitation in the Sonoran desert means that any plant that successfully grows here needs to behaviorally or structurally adapt to tolerate drought. The Globe Chamomile does this in several ways. First, the plant minimizes water loss through respiration with small, deeply lobed leaves. You can see an example of that in the photo right here. The reduced surface area of the leaves mean that there's less surface area in which to lose water. The intensity of the sun in the Sonoran desert means that the plant is still getting more than enough light with which to conduct photosynthesis. Next, like many other plants that thrive in the Sonoran desert, the Globe Chamomile utilizes a taproot, a single, long root that can stretch down to access water sources deep below the surface. The 2018-2019 and 2019-2020 winters were particularly wet, which means that water has been more accessible in the past 2 years, potentially explaining the explosion of yellow globes in the Phoenix area. Finally, the Globe Chamomile is particularly well suited for disbursement across the desert landscape. Each yellow head on the Globe Chamomile consists of hundreds of tiny yellow flowers, each of which can drop many seeds. The flowers tend to stick to passing animals, particularly when they are damp, as from morning dew or brief rains. When dry, these flower heads and the enclosed seeds are light enough to be dispersed by wind, which during a monsoon season can be quite vigorous. With these plants so well adapted to live in the desert southwest, it's no wonder that Globe Chamomile has been increasingly pervasive in the Sonoran Desert area since its introduction from South Africa in the early 1980s. There are many organizations and individuals who argue that the spread of this plant should be limited if at all possible, while others have advocated for a wait-and-see approach to see how this plant might interact with the ecosystems of the Sonoran Desert in the long run. Either way, this fascinating plant can be spotted throughout the Phoenix area from early spring through the summer. I'm Jenny Ushery, and this has been Plant Talk.